Gary Ridgway, Top 10 Green River Killer. Welcome, true crime aficionados. Today we delve into the chilling saga of one of the most notorious serial killers in American history, Gary Ridgway, better known as the Green River Killer. What if I told you that this seemingly ordinary man was responsible for the deaths of over 49 women, evading capture for decades? Join us as we explore the top 10 most disturbing facts about Gary Ridgway. Prepare yourself for a deep dive into the mind of a killer and the investigation that finally brought him to justice. Buckle up as we navigate through a labyrinth of horror, deception, and ultimately, chilling truths. Number 10. A troubling childhood. Gary Ridgway was born on February 18, 1949, in Salt Lake City, Utah. What sinister influences shaped the mind of a man destined to become one of America's most infamous killers? Ridgway's childhood was marked by an unstable family environment. His father was a domineering figure who often ridiculed him. Growing up with an overpowering mother and a distant father left Ridgway feeling powerless and resentful. This toxic combination of familial pressure and neglect may have contributed to his later violent tendencies. As we peel back the layers of his upbringing, we begin to understand the dark seeds planted in Ridgway's psyche, seeds that would grow into a harvest of horror. Number 9. The killings begin. Ridgway committed his first murder in 1982, targeting young women who were often involved in prostitution. Imagine the terror gripping Washington state as this predator began his reign of terror. His modus operandi involved luring victims with the promise of work or money before brutally killing them. Ridgway would then dispose of their bodies in the Green River, leading to his chilling nickname. His choice of victims, vulnerable women, reveals a calculated predation that preyed on those often overlooked by society. The sheer number of victims would grow over the years, creating a legacy of fear that echoed through the region. How many lives were forever altered by Ridgway's heinous acts? What do you think? Number 8. The Green River Murders. Between 1982 and 1998, Ridgway murdered at least 49 women, although he claimed the number could be as high as 71. What drove Ridgway to continue this gruesome spree, even as law enforcement closed in? The sheer scale of the murders shocked the community, leading to widespread media coverage and public outcry. As investigators uncovered bodies along the Green River, the case drew national attention, with the FBI eventually joining the investigation. Each discovery sent ripples of fear through the community, as families mourned their lost loved ones while desperately searching for answers. With so many lives claimed, the question lingers, how did he evade justice for so long? Number 7. The investigation struggles. The investigation into the Green River murders faced significant challenges from the outset. What obstacles did law enforcement encounter that allowed Ridgway to slip through their fingers for years? With so many missing persons reports and a lack of physical evidence, detectives struggled to connect the dots. The case was hampered by the transient nature of many of Ridgway's victims, making it difficult to establish patterns or gather reliable information. Despite these hurdles, the determination of the detectives involved led to groundbreaking advancements in forensic science. The investigative team faced pressure from the public and the media, intensifying their quest for answers. But with Ridgway operating in the shadows, the investigation often felt like a race against time. Number 6. Arrest and confession. In 2001, Ridgway was arrested and ultimately confessed to the murders, detailing his horrific crimes in chilling detail. What drove him to confess after so many years of evasion? Ridgway's confession was both shocking and chilling. He described how he would pick up women, take them to secluded areas, and then strangle them to death. He often returned to the crime scenes to engage in sexual acts with the corpses, showcasing his utter depravity. Ridgway's cold demeanor during his confession left investigators and the public horrified. As details emerged, it became clear that he reveled in the control he exerted over his victims. His willingness to share his story was as perplexing as it was disturbing. Could this confession have been a misguided attempt at seeking notoriety, or perhaps a twisted way to relive his horrors? Number 5. The psychological profile. Understanding Ridgway's psychology is crucial to grasping the full scope of his heinous actions. What psychological factors contributed to his transformation into a remorseless killer? Experts suggest that Ridgway exhibited classic traits of a sociopath: lack of empathy, superficial charm, and an insatiable need for control. His early experiences of being dominated by his mother and humiliated by his father may have contributed to a profound desire to exert power over women. The mix of low self-esteem and feelings of inadequacy manifested in violent outbursts against vulnerable targets, making Ridgway a textbook example of a sociopathic killer. Analyzing his psychological profile reveals not just a man who committed terrible acts, but a deeply troubled individual whose past haunted his present. How many other lives could have been spared had someone intervened in his life earlier? Comment below. Number 4. The Green River Task Force. The establishment of the Green River Task Force marked a significant turning point in the investigation. How did this dedicated team manage to unearth evidence that had eluded others for years? Formed in 1984, the task force comprised local and state law enforcement, FBI agents, and forensic specialists committed to solving the murders. Their combined expertise and resources allowed them to adopt innovative investigative techniques that would eventually lead to Ridgway's capture. This collaborative approach was critical in connecting the murders and understanding the killer's patterns. The task force's relentless pursuit of justice showcased the unwavering commitment of law enforcement to the victims and their families. What breakthroughs might they have achieved had they more resources or support from the community? Number 3. The impact on victims' families. The aftermath of Ridgway's crimes left families shattered and communities reeling. What lasting scars did his actions leave on the loved ones of the victims? Many families spent years searching for answers, holding on to hope that their loved ones would return. Instead, they were left with an agonizing sense of loss and betrayal. The emotional toll of Ridgway's crimes was profound, as families grappled with grief and anger while seeking justice. His confessions revealed the horrific truth that their loved ones had suffered unimaginable fates at the hands of a man who saw them as mere objects. The haunting stories of the victims serve as a reminder of the real human cost behind Ridgway's monstrous actions. How many lives were forever altered, and how does a community heal from such a profound tragedy? Number 2. The legacy of the Green River Killer. Ridgway's crimes have left a lasting mark on both the criminal justice system and public consciousness. How has the legacy of the Green River Killer influenced contemporary approaches to serial killer investigations? The case prompted changes in how law enforcement agencies handle missing persons and homicides, especially those involving marginalized communities. It also sparked discussions about the importance of supporting victims' families and providing them with the resources they need to heal. The media portrayal of the case and Ridgway's eventual capture served to raise awareness of the dangers faced by vulnerable populations, particularly sex workers. The lessons learned from this case continue to shape the future of criminal investigations. How can we ensure that history doesn't repeat itself? And what measures can we take to protect vulnerable individuals from similar fates? Number 1. The Final Reckoning. Gary Ridgway was sentenced to 49 life terms in prison, without the possibility of parole in 2003. What does this final verdict mean for the families of the victims and society as a whole? Ridgway's incarceration brings a sense of closure to some families, but also raises questions about justice and accountability. Despite confessing to the murders, Ridgway's calm demeanor during his sentencing left many feeling unsettled, as if he remained unrepentant for his actions. The finality of his sentence serves as a stark reminder of the evil that exists in the world and the ongoing fight for justice. While Ridgway may be behind bars, his legacy of horror continues to haunt the memories of those affected by his crimes. As we reflect on his chilling story, we must remain vigilant against the darkness that can lurk in seemingly ordinary individuals. What lessons can we draw from Ridgway's life to ensure that we protect our communities from such horrors in the future? What do you think? Comment below. Thank you for joining us as we unraveled the harrowing tale of Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer. If you found this investigation engaging, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel,